Jake Paul is tearing his hair out after Joe Rogan just demolished the Mike Perry fight. Jake has been causing a stir ever since he replaced Mike Tyson with Perry for his upcoming July 20th fight. But what really shook things up was Rogan's scathing critique of the fight. Looks like July 20th has been hit by a bad luck charm because it's not looking good for the YouTuber turned boxer. The UFC commentator isn't one to hold back, so his explosive response to this upcoming fight has everyone talking. Stick around as we break down the aftermath. If you want a new take on the Joe Rogan versus Jake Paul drama, you're gonna love this.
Don't know what a dog Mike Perry is.
Yeah, he's a pit bull.
You need to do your goddamn research.
Mike
There's
Perry,
no quit.
He's a game-bred pit bull.
Jake thinks he has escaped the beast of Mike Tyson, but little does he know, he's gotten himself in a much more dangerous fight. If you haven't been up to speed, the former Disney star sent shockwaves throughout the entire boxing community in March when he announced he was stepping into the ring with the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. Iron Mike versus Jake Paul? That was a fight boxing fans didn't see coming even in their wildest dreams. Jake being Jake has been fueling the fire between him and Mike ever since to build hype for the fight. Half the fight world started hating Jake when he initially announced the fight, and the other half when he took verbal jabs at Mike's family. But you know Jake Paul? He's got no remorse. Love him or hate him, he knows how to stay in the spotlight. But lately he's been losing his nerve and panicking. Good thing Jake's prayers got answered when Mike backed out due to a health hiccup because this man was ready to chew off Jake's ears in the ring. And knowing Iron Mike, you and I both know he's a freaking beast who's very much capable of doing that. Better watch out, Paul, because you're set to step into the ring with him later this year. Yes, their blockbuster fight got postponed to November 15th, and the whole world will have its eyes on Paul being knocked out cold in the ring. All thanks to Netflix, which will be streaming the fight. As for now, Jake's got an even tougher opponent to deal with. Who can be more dangerous than Iron Mike? Well, he's not more dangerous than the legend, but he's not 58, and in his prime, which is a deadly combination. Joe Rogan is always the first to share his 2 cents on upcoming fights, and he had a lot to say about Jake's new opponent for fight night. Rogan is known for his blunt commentary and deep knowledge of combat sports. He's a man who speaks his heart out, which is why Jake has gone all ballistic. You know deep down Jake's insecure about his status in the boxing world and goes all out when people question it.
Yeah, Mike Perry's dangerous. That's a super dangerous fight.
When is the Mike Tyson fight?
Jokes aside, you gotta give Jake credit where it's due. Aside from Tommy Fury, this is the first time Jake is going after a tough fighter in his prime. If you ask me, I was pretty shocked to see Mike Perry's name on the fight poster. I was expecting some retired 40-year-old MMA star or NBA player. Looks like Jake has finally decided to shush critiques once and for all. The last time he tried going against a real pro boxer to cement his status as a legitimate boxer, this dude was handed the first loss of his career. And that, too, a humiliating one by Tommy Fury. If you ask Joe Rogan, it's not going to be much different when he steps into the ring with Mike Perry later this month. Let me fill you in with everything you need to know about Mike Perry. I mean, there must be a reason why Joe's all fired up about it, right? Platinum Mike Perry began his career in combat sports as a UFC star. Now, during his time in the UFC, he was a good fighter to watch and had an impressive record of 14-8-0, but he wasn't the world champion or anything. However, it was a whole different story in the bare-knuckle fighting championship. As soon as he stepped into the bare-knuckle ring, Mike became a star. He's the best out there right now and a poster boy for the promotion. Not only is he undefeated, but he's knocked out Hall of Famers. There's a reason why boxing pros have been warning Jake to take this one seriously. The YouTuber turned boxer is shaking it off. I know what you're thinking. Mike's a star in bare knuckle, but what about pro boxing? Well, he's only ever fought once, and that was a loss to Kenneth McNeil. But hey, don't count him out just yet, because this man is more dangerous than you think. Jake Paul is making a grave mistake by taking this bout lightly, and he's going to regret it once he steps into the ring on July 20th.
Had really tough
You're an
fights,
appetizer.
15 UFC fights. What's that?
You're an appetizer, brother. You're an appetizer. You're a Mike appetizer.
Get this, no athlete in their right mind would treat Mike Perry as an appetizer. Yeah, I know where Jake's coming from, and Perry is no match for Tyson, but let's not forget that Iron Mike is pushing 60s now. There's no denying that he's one of the best heavyweight boxers we've ever seen, but those days are far behind the guy. He's almost 58 now, and fighting old people's diseases such as ulcers. You can't expect him to be the same guy he was in the ring 30 years ago. Father Time has caught up to him, and even the best athletes in the world can't escape it. Now, as for Perry, he's a man in his prime. He's 32 years old and fresh off wins. He's got a devastating punch that sends his opponents crashing onto the canvas. He's a dangerous man, and Paul is failing to see it. Instead of putting in the work and gearing up for the fight, Jake is out there pranking fans at Walmart only a couple of weeks before the fight. Even Mike Tyson was training harder than him before his ulcer took him down. Jake thinks he can easily come out on top July 20th, and then he'll start preparing for the real fight with Tyson. Here's the thing, though. Rogan believes Jake should have never taken the Perry fight in the first place. It's not like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was canceled. It got postponed because Mike had an ulcer on a cross-country flight. The doctors advised him to take it easy for a couple of weeks before heading back to training, or else he risked surgery. Mike didn't want to show up in the ring not unprepared, so he called it off for now. Smart move. Jake could have easily waited a few months, but instead he got his golden ticket to dodge Mike Tyson. Hear me out, the Tyson fight is pretty much still in jeopardy. When you have a 58-year-old man as an opponent in a boxing match, things can go south any minute. You never know what health problems await the man. He could get sick a day before the fight. Paul understands that and doesn't want to wait for a fight that might never happen. It's crazy because one minute, he's obsessing over fighting Mike Tyson, and the other, he's firing shots at Mike Perry to put up gloves against him. It's important to note that Platinum Perry has been begging for a fight with Paul for years now. They too share history in the ring, as Mike helped Jake spar before stepping into the ring for his debut fight. Ever since then, Perry has been wanting to fight Jake in the public eye. Now that he's finally getting the opportunity, he's going to leave no stone unturned to humiliate Paul in the ring. Perry is gearing up for the biggest boxing fight of his career, while Jake isn't even treating it like a real one. That's just going to be plain sad for the athlete. Nevertheless, boxing pros are still firing shots at Paul like they always do. Yeah. This never gets old. Joe Rogan's rooting for Mike. He knows that Paul has gotten good in the ring, but he's also aware of the power Perry possesses, and he's backing the latter in the matchup. Other boxing pros have also hopped on the bandwagon to share their take on this upcoming fight. Take it from Michael Bisping, who's in the same boat as Joe Rogan. You don't take either of their words with grains of salt because they know what they're talking about.
Mike Perry is a fighter. Mike Perry wasn't necessarily the best jiu-jitsu artist or had the best wrestling, but there's not a fight that Mike Perry won't take. I've spoken to Mike Perry on several occasions, and he is the epitome of a real fighter, and he's an absolute star in the bare. But Jake Paul, I think he's made a tremendous mistake here because he's a real fighter. He's going to get in shape. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's going to go right at Jake.
Jake being Jake is firing back with a verbal smackdown at anyone who's voting against him in this upcoming matchup. But you can really tell that deep down, he's in straight-up panic mode. Maybe that'll give him what he needs to go train like a beast. I hope he knows that his fight with Tyson will be at risk if he loses on July 20th. And that's exactly what Mike Perry is aiming at. He revealed in an interview, "I'm trying to ruin that whole thing for him, see if they offer it to me after I knock Jake out and be like, hey, do you want to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix? That's the real win here if I can stop that, but I don't want it to hurt Mike's pockets either." I guess we'll have to just wait and see how it all plays out. Fight night is just around the corner, so you don't have to wait for long. So, there you go, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on Jake Paul's explosive reaction to Rogan's comments? Are you scared for the athlete? Fill in the comments section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.